Factors impacting income in Germany. The primary guiding question is, which factors impact income in Germany? More specifically, how do age and the level of education influence income, and do views on immigration policy have an impact? The dataset used is World Values Survey Wave 4. The sample from Germany has 2,036 respondents. The specific analytical approaches that will be used are multiple regression analysis, control tables, tau-B, and hierarchical regression. These are the specific factors I'm interested in evaluating. The dependent variable, income, refers to household income and includes all wages, salaries, and pensions coming in. The first independent variable, x1, is education, which refers to the highest level of education attained. x2 is age, answers ranged from 15 to 98 years. x3 is perspectives on immigration policy and deals with whether the respondent believes that the government should let anyone immigrate, allow immigration only if jobs are available, impose strict limits, or prohibit people from coming. To tease more nuanced results out of the data, I would like to further impose Z1, gender, on the relationship between education and income to see whether gender differences persist. Z2, citizenship, will be applied to views on immigration policy to see if being a citizen affects the relationship with income. Numerous scholars have proposed that there exists a positive correlation between level of education and income. Some examples include Brunner and Wayland and Kardak. Debbie posits that in India, income differs by gender even among those with the same level of education. That said, education is one of the most important factors in decreasing income difference. I would like to see whether this is the case in Germany as well. Lozakmer states that income is affected by age, especially across the three broad categories of young, middle, and old. In regards to immigration policies, Giordani and Ruda posit that according to standard economic theory, freer immigration will improve natives' welfare. To gain further insight, I will also look specifically at the relationship between those favoring open policy and their income among German citizens. Based on the existing literature, three primary hypotheses and two sub-hypotheses can be formulated. First, it is hypothesized that there is a positive correlation between the level of education attained and income. Education is often regarded as an investment, and general consensus holds that more education will have larger returns in the long run. It is speculated that when controlling for gender, the results will generally be replicated, but the correlation will be stronger for females. Secondly, it is hypothesized that there is a positive correlation between age and income. As individuals gain work experience and maturity, they usually become eligible for higher salaries. It is also hypothesized that there is a positive relationship among respondents in favor of open immigration policies and income, while those who prefer closed policies will see a negative correlation. x3 will be coded as a dummy variable with the largest category, strict limits, set as the reference. It is further speculated that among citizens, those supporting open policies will have higher incomes, since the literature suggests that they are beneficiaries. Looking at the regression analysis results, there are some discrepancies between the outcomes generated and the initial hypotheses. Only the relationship between education and income is positive, while the other four are all negative. The significances of the overall equation and for the correlations between age, education, and open immigration policy and income, respectively, all pass the significance threshold and are thus acceptable results, while the other two subvariables of immigration policy opinions are not. After removing missing and invalidated cases, we have a sample size of 1,417. The R-square value indicates that approximately 11.8% of the variation in the amount of monthly household income is explained by these five variables collectively. The adjusted R-square value, which compensates for any artificial inflation, yields a similar result of 11.5%. The tolerance levels for each of the independent variables are well above the threshold level of 0.2 and indicate no concerns about multicollinearity. The B-values indicate the direction and number of units of change in the respondent's amount of monthly household income due to a one-unit change in each independent variable. The positive relationship between education and income is in line with what we theorized. Interestingly, in the case of age, each additional year results in a decrease in income. This seems to run contrary to our initial hypothesis. One potential reason for this outcome is that older retired respondents with decreased salaries outweighed the portion of young respondents, thus skewing the results. In evaluating open, we can see that those who are proponents of open immigration policy generally have a negative correlation with income. This too seems contrary to the initial hypothesis. As such, we'll need to look specifically at results among citizens to gauge why this might be. It is necessary to compare the beta values to determine the relative influence of the variables. The higher the beta value, the stronger the relationship. Thus, we can determine that the relationship between education and income is the strongest out of these three statistically significant ones, while the relationship between openness of immigration and income is the weakest, with age and income falling in between the two extremes. Using gender as a control for the relationship between education and income, we can conclude that this is overall a case of replication. All three relationships are statistically significant, and neither the male nor female tau b value has changed by at least a third from the original value. The relationship for females does become slightly stronger, though, while that for the males weakens a little, suggesting some slight specification in line with our hypothesis. In looking at the interaction effects of citizenship on immigration opinions, there does seem to be a positive relationship among citizens favoring open immigration and income. However, this result is statistically insignificant, and the overall equation accounts for less than 0.7% of the variance in income. Thus, we are forced to reject this outcome. In summary, hypothesis 1 is valid and significant. Education positively correlates with income. Controlling for gender is valid and significant in that females see a stronger positive correlation. Hypothesis 2, while significant, is invalid. Age, in fact, correlates negatively with income here. Hypothesis 3 is somewhat invalid and somewhat significant. Regardless of opinion on immigration policies, the correlations were negative, and only those favoring open policies saw a significant relationship. The interaction effect of citizenship and open policies saw a positive relationship with income, but was insignificant. Here is an overview of the effects of the three X factors on income. Relatively speaking, education level has a strong positive influence, age has a moderate negative influence, and open immigration has a weak negative relationship. Income gaps are both a national and international issue with political and social stability ramifications and thus require further research. Some potential next steps include having a greater sample size, evaluating different countries, and testing and controlling for other variables.